The last question is still related to the supply and the demand, market shortage, and market surplus. So look at this question. Look at the supply and demand curve above, answering the following question. So the supply and the demand curve are for the organ. So the first question asks you, how many people would be unable to receive a needed organ and therefore die in the market-driven economy? And the second question asks you, how many people die in the government-regulated economy where the government set price ceiling is price equal to 0? And then question number C is, what is the impact of the price ceiling, price equal to 0, on demand, supply, the quantity of organs demanded, and the quantity of organs supplied? Before we start working on this question, I want to emphasize one concept, that is the function of the price ceiling and price floor. You need to keep in mind, no matter it is price ceiling or price floor, they will never shift the curve, but it only cause the price and demand move along the curve. So no matter the government set up price ceiling or price floor, we cannot expect the supply and the demand curve move. So now look at the first question. How many people would be unable to receive a needed organ and therefore die in the market-driven economy? So if we look at the graph, just think about, okay, the government can do nothing, so the market will work by themselves. And at what point the market will be stable? So obviously, when the market will reach to equilibrium point, the market will be stable. Now let's look at. First, let me help you to find the equilibrium point. So that is the intersection between the demand curve and the supply curve. So when the market is stable, we will find this equilibrium point. So at that point, the market price is a PE, and the market supply is QE. So now, how many people cannot get the organ given we let the market running by itself? Obviously, when the price is PE and the market supply will from 0 is this section, so it's QE amount. And how about market demand? So market demand at price is PE, and the market demand is also QE amount. But think about, if people get sick, they definitely need the organs. So, but unfortunately, they have no money to afford it. So, which means we will have this amount of people, because they are so poor to pay the PE amount of money for the organ, they cannot get an organ and died. So now look at the first question. How many people would be unable to receive a needed organ and therefore die in a market-driven economy? So obviously, if it's a free if the organ is free, for instance, people have goodwill and they will donate their organ instead of price it. And for the whole market, they need QD amount. Unfortunately, the black market, they price it. So as the market work by themselves, the final market price is PE. Under PE, only QE amount of people can afford it. So from the QD minus QE amount of people, they are too poor to afford the organ. So for the first question, so how many people would be unable to receive a needed organ? That is QD minus QE amount. Okay, now if we let the government intervene into the market mechanism, and how many people will die if the government set up the price as P equal to 0, so which means it's here. So if the market price is 0, first we can find the price is 0, the demand is QD. So we can see everybody needed the QD amount organ are needed. But how about supply? If the price is 0 and only QA amount of the supplier want to supply the organ, so only QA amount of people, their goodwill, and they will donate their organ. So now we can find the gap between the demand and the supply will be QD minus QA. So which to say QD minus QA amount of people, they cannot get organ. Wow, that's sad. The government really want to help, but unfortunately, their price policy will have more worse impact on the market. Before, we only have QD minus QE amount of people have no will not get the organ and die, but now, since the supplier doesn't want to supply the organ, and we will have more people died because the government set up the price. So now you can see how important for the government and for us to know the economics, because obviously we can see the government really want to help out, but unfortunately they choose the wrong economic tools. Instead of relieve the situation, they make more people die because of nobody wanting to supply the organ. Now look at the third question. What is the impact of the price ceiling P equal to 0 on demand and supply, the quantity of the organs demanded and the quantity of organs supplied? So here we have four concepts: demand, supply, quantity of organ demanded, and quantity of organ supplied. So what's the difference? The difference are the first two, demand and supply. It actually ask you the demand curve or demand schedule and supply curve or supply schedule. Obviously, at the beginning of this question, I said no matter price ceiling or price floor, you will never shift the supply and the demand curve. So to answer this question, what is the impact of price ceiling P equal to 0 on demand and supply? That is no impact. And how about the quantity of organs demanded and the quantity of organs supplied? So since the price equal to 0 is so lower than the market price, so the quantity of the demand will be increased because of very low price. But for the quantity of supply, see, from the QE decreased to QA, so the quantity of demand, the supply will be decreased. So to answer this question, you need to make sure you understand what is demand and supply curve. They are not the fulfilled price or fulfilled quantity. They are just the schedule. So the price ceiling cannot affect the supply and demand schedule. The only thing the price ceiling can affect is the fulfilled quantity. So that is the quantity of organs demanded and quantity of organ supplied.